Hello everyone, it's Thursday maybe? I don't know what days I put videos up anymore. It's some day of the week, we'll just say that. Anyway, this is the annual school year reflection. I know a few years ago I said that I was thinking about stopping doing these because it felt like I was saying the same thing every single year. And in short, I was right. I haven't watched any of them recently, previous ones that I've made. Been on the road a lot the last couple of days, and just a lot has happened in the last few days as well, and last couple weeks. May is just a busy month for a lot of people, teachers specifically. I think I usually get very busy this time of year in May, but now that the school year is completed, I can do this reflection that I seem to do every year. This one in particular is gonna be very challenging in ways that there's a lot that I would like to say, but know that I can't say, because this video goes up on a public website that other people can see. A lot of people know that I make videos, so there's a good chance that people I know are gonna be watching this video. So I don't wanna say anything that's gonna paint people in a particular light, even if I don't mean to do that. So I'm going to speak in a rather, I would say, vague sense, but also I do wanna speak from the heart, because I think many of you watching know that I'm a pretty genuine person. I don't really seek to bring down anybody in any way, but at the same time, I do have thoughts and opinions, and I do have feelings that are valid and I feel need to be said in a respectful way. We'll start with this. I don't know if I've said this at all this year, but a new aspect of my job this year was I was actually not only at my original school, which I've been at for now 9 years. This was the end of year 9. I was also doing part-time work at another school this year, specifically doing instrumental music. I was there 2 days a week for collectively about 3 hours over the 2 days, maybe slightly more depending on how long I was there if I had other responsibilities to do during the week. But it was a part-time thing. I was only there those 2 specific days, not really outside of that time was I there. That in itself was sort of, I want to say, a door that opened that allowed me to see, okay, how does another school in our diocese, in the Catholic school system, you could say, of the area, how does that school run itself? What are the students like there? What are the faculty like there? What are the you know, the other kind of, what other differences are there that exist that, you know, my original school doesn't do? And it was amazing to me at how different they were. The largest difference, I would say, is this particular school is much larger than my school by almost 2 times. There's I would say even maybe over double what my first school has. So because of that difference, they have 2 of each grade from kindergarten up through 8th grade, which makes the faculty and the staff there almost double in size. I think I counted, there's maybe, at my initial school, there's maybe 20 to 25 people on the staff and faculty. There were probably, from what I heard, 50 to 60 on the staff of the other school. So that in and of itself was a huge change for me. The other thing that I noticed, and this is where it's going to get a little bit gray area-ish, because again, I want to watch what I say, but I found it very interesting to see how the student bodies of each school were different in the way, in their motivations, in how they approached their studies, in how they interacted with each other, and how they interacted with the teachers, with the staff, with the administration even. That was a very big eye-opening thing for me in terms of what I'm used to at my school compared to what this new school did. Again, I'm not saying one way is better than the other. It's just, it was really interesting to see how different the student populations were. The other thing, again, because this school is larger, there were more, I felt at least, there were more opportunities for the students to get involved with extracurriculars outside of just sports. Like, for instance, they had a school musical. They had a yearbook committee. They had, what else did they have? There was this thing called Girls on the Run or something. I don't know what they did, if they like went running, if they just talked about like things in terms of what it means to be like a woman of the faith. I don't really know exactly what it was, but I remember it being offered. I feel when you have a larger staff, a larger faculty, you have people that want to do things like that. Again, not saying one school is better than the other, just noticing that, you know, this other school had these other opportunities that I didn't know existed. And then there were a couple other like administrative things that they did differently. There were a couple open positions throughout the school year that the teachers were hiring for, and it was interesting that the faculty themselves were invited to see these potential candidates deliver a lesson, to look at resumes, and I'm like, is that normal? Because my other school, we don't do that. I guess what I'm saying is, being at 2 schools this year really opened my eyes to other potential things, other potential avenues, I guess you could say, that I could be a part of. Now, granted, I was just doing instrumental music at this school, and they had been going through a shift in terms of their instrumental program. There was a woman running it who had retired. They hired a new guy who, for lack of a better word, and I can't really put it any other nice way than this, but really wasn't that great at the job. I don't really know the guy that well, so I can't really speak for the kind of character that he is, but I do know that not many people had positive things to say about this person. So I'm just repeating what I've heard. So he ended up leaving. I think it was halfway through one of the school years. I think it was the year before I got there. So they asked the previous director, who had retired, to come back to finish out the school year, which was then how I kind of came in. The principal at my school asked me, would you want to do that? And I said, okay, how's that going to work with my schedule being full-time here? How am I going to do part-time at this other school as well? So we eventually we sat down, discussed it, talked, and made it work. I don't want to say the issue, but the band program at this new school of mine is kind of in a sort of a rebuild stage. I only had 10 students participate this year, which, you know, if we're in a rebuild stage, 10 is better than 5 or even that. So 10 was great. They were all varied instruments. Like, I didn't have, you know, 8 clarinets, a saxophone, and a French horn. You know, I had like 3 clarinets, a flute, some brass. So it was a good variety. And then I managed to get a couple new people involved. Unfortunately, some of them were 8th graders, which means they're graduating, so I only had them for 1 year. But they were very good. I had one new 8th grader this year who played saxophone, who was just very, very good at it and really picked it up well. And then I had another new 8th grader who I think had been in the band before and then left and then came back. So I guess what I'm saying is I've been exposed in a way to something new, to a new way of running a program, to a new way that a school can run. And unfortunately, I don't know if unfortunately is the right word, it's made me become a little bit more critical of certain things that I see at my original school. And I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to say much more. I've seen how a different way a school can run. I like certain aspects of it. I like certain aspects of how my first school is run. It's been a challenge this year, especially toward the end of the year. I'd say the last maybe 6 weeks of the school year. Going forward, what am I looking forward to next year? Well, I have told my second school that I do intend on returning. Now, here's where we throw the wrench into all the things. Right before our spring break, the principal at my first school announced her resignation. She managed to finish out the school year, which we were thankful for, and we have hired a new principal. I do not know this person at all. I don't know anything about where they're coming from. I do know where they're coming from, but I don't know much about the place they're coming from. I don't know anything about their leadership qualities, but I do know that we have a new principal lined up for next year. I'm curious and I'm hopeful that this principal will be a good fit for our school. I'm really hoping that this principal will bring some good leadership, will be a good fit for our student population, and will be very intentional. That's a word I'm really looking to integrate more of in a lot that I do, is intentionality. Kind of piggybacking off the school year reflection to this channel, I haven't really been that intentional with uploading, except with my What's for Dinners. You know, I keep churning those out. I really haven't been that intentional, and I know I've said in years past, even this year, that I wanted to get more intentional and distribute intentional content. I still am trying to figure out what intentional content is. I do want to get back at releasing content more. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I feel that now that Erin and I are married, we can do more things together. So in that vein, let me share with you a few things coming up this summer. I do usually share what's coming up in the summer. So right now, we're actually not in Toledo. I don't film School Year Reflections in Toledo because it's a way for me to get away, and I feel like I can be a little bit more open. I don't know why, but from my mind, just not being physically within Toledo, it makes it easier to share these thoughts. I don't know if that makes any sense, but my mother turned 70 Memorial Day weekend, and we are on our way home from a party we had for her. Once we get back, I will be leaving again. I don't know when you're going to see this video, so you might see this when I am in Minnesota. I'm going back to Minnesota for a wedding. Actually, it's a wedding of a Twitter friend north of St. Paul, Minneapolis, St. Paul, about 2 hours north of there. And then I'm going to spend some more time out there. I was out there last summer for about a week and a half, Wisconsin included in that. I thought I will go out there again, just see some different areas. I'm going to spend a little bit more time in St. Paul, doing some train things around there, and then going up. I'm actually going to go back up to Duluth for a few days and do some more up there, because that's where I was last summer. So that's the big thing, and then I'll be coming back. I'm taking Amtrak. I don't think I said that. I'm going to take Amtrak like I did a few years ago when I went to visit my friend Eric in Colorado. I don't know if I'm going to vlog it like I did in 2018. I might take some video of it. I don't know how much, but I might consider it. I really did like doing that, so I might do that again. And then in July, Erin and I are going to the Eucharistic Congress that is happening in Indianapolis. Our diocese has a bus that they're renting, and we leave July 17th and we come back July 21st. We are very excited. And I do mean both Erin and I are very excited to be a part of this group going out there for the Congress. Got a couple other things we're probably going to sprinkle in. I know Erin's parents want to come out over a weekend or a week or two. And then there's a couple other little things that I might do. I might do like a weekend train trip somewhere. Oh, I can say I booked a experience with the nickel plate steam locomotive. I had my hat back. Oh, here's my hat. My nickel plate 765 hat. I booked an experience with this steam locomotive, which lives in Fort Wayne. They've been doing excursions on a short line out in Indiana. And I booked this thing called Throttle Time, which allows me the chance to learn how to operate the engine and actually get the chance to move the locomotive over some over like a small section of track. Lots of fun things happening this summer, and I hope that I'm able to bring all of you along with it to some degree, whatever that degree might be, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Twitter, if you follow me on Twitter, or I do usually post my travels on Facebook, so you might see it there too. I do hope to share more with you guys in the next few weeks to months. I think that's all I want to say. If you're the praying kind of person, you can pray for, I'd ask kindly, humbly, for prayers as the summer happens and as the next school year starts. The graduating class this year was in kindergarten when I arrived at my first school, and I had always said that when this class graduates, or when I hit my 10 years at this school, I was going to start looking elsewhere. And the kindergarten class that was there when I was a first-year teacher has now graduated, and this coming school year will be my 10th year teaching. So I don't know if a change is coming yet. I have a feeling that it might be, and I want to know that if it is coming soon, that it's the right change, and that I follow through with that change to the best of my ability, and that it's just the right thing that I need to do in that time. I hope to see more of you all this summer, and yeah, so take care, God bless, and I'll see you all later.